Hey, well, welcome to another Did You Know session. Shoot. So, just wanted to give you an idea what digital marketing is about and how we are using digital marketing to find new audiences. And this also might help you also in a personal way to understand how ads are served to you and search affects you when you're going through the web on your own, whatever you might be looking for. So, I mean, if we think back in terms of what advertising used to be, it used to be a lot of signs everywhere, outside and in magazines, etc. And it was really a traditional approach up until really about 15 years ago when display advertising started, which really predated pay-per-click, and I'll explain all that stuff. So this is an ad from um, the mid 80s where they were basically talking about you can send mail and play bridge and be in chat forums. And this was CompuServe, so this was really pre-web days. And, you know, little did we think of then that we'd all be dressed in white, but more importantly, that we'd still be using DOS and keying out to people in chat forums. And it's really progressed when you think about how the internet really expands throughout everything we touch in the networks of really everything. Um, and so when the web came along and took over sort of the traffic from these AOL, Prodigy, and CompuServe and other sort of proprietary network content sites, there was a lot of concern that the original web was really a place where everything was free and you could look at everything, and it was ad free as well. And there was a lot, this is from '94, so really the early days of the web, probably when the Mosaic browser was the only thing around. I think it certainly predates Netscape. But, you know, what are you doing? Why are you putting ads in your content? How dare you try and make money off of my eyeballs? Of course, that's just a part of the fabric of life these days. I'm sure there was very similar conversations in early radio and early television. So this is just an idea of some of the early advertising. And when I talked about banner ads, this was sort of the size that was used. Now this was only 640 pixels wide, so we think of that as small, but that would be about pretty much filling up your entire cathode ray tube monitor. And these are not ads from, you know, mom and pop shops. These are from, I'm not sure about the first two, but certainly the third one's Merrill Lynch. The second one is, the second from the bottom is Disney and eBay. And the last one is Monkey Mail. So, you know, really the idea was try to get as much attention on them as possible, but that's not always the case. And of course, there's been lots of learnings and studies and thoughts as to what makes a good ad and what makes a person click on things. So digital marketing, just from a high point of view, really encompasses everything you're doing within the online spectrum. So search engine marketing for your sites. App development, note that we don't do any app development for tablets or phones. But the web design, you know, how is that laid out? How do people actually use the web design that you're using? And, sorry, Chris, can you hear me?
We can't hear you, Chris.
Oh, you can hear me okay?
Yes, sorry, there seems to be a meeting confusion.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. SEO, so SEO is search engine optimization. Sorry, SEM is search engine marketing. So that's marketing or paid search that we do. Email marketing is, we do email marketing through two things. One is newsletters, which also can be considered content marketing, but also direct email that we'll send to people pushing out about information on specific products that we want people to be aware of. Social media, of course, we're on LinkedIn, Pinterest, but mostly and more importantly, we use Facebook and Twitter. YouTube, we have a channel there. We're not so much concerned about the people that use our channel or like our channel, but it's more about using that channel and the videos therein to use across different sites, including social media as well as our websites. Branding also is a part of it. How do we handle our branding? And so, yes, it's not just only about digital marketing, branding, and branding goes across the organization, but it is a very important part to keep in mind that that is a thing that is important that drives how you put in context everything else that you're doing. So we look at traditional media and digital, and if you're looking, just within North America from 2016, if you're looking at the cost to reach an audience of 2,000 people, there's radio, newsprint, magazines, direct mail, which is putting stuff, either postcards or in an envelope, and it can get quite expensive compared to what you can do with that audience in terms of social networks, social media, or paid search. And search also can be used within there would be display advertising, which doesn't necessarily show during your search, but it is administrated through a search partner such as Google. Just to sidestep to print, out of the last CTEP magazine, going back to branding, this is how we use our branding in the offline traditional magazines compared to one of our competitors, really pushing them towards more information online and as well letting them know about our social networks that we're a part of. So not as comprehensive as this other advertisement is, but if they want more, we push them. We're able to clarify it here, take advantage of that space, and then push them online to where our products are and where we really want to engage people. So I'm not sure if you can see the full circles with the gray things in those circles, but it gives you an idea of, what are people doing to access the internet. So I say the Internet of Things there, and that really shows you that the Internet of Things isn't not just what it is that's connected to the internet, but how. So there's pretty much every way possible that you want to connect to the internet, you can. And you can do that in various ways. And so when you start looking at PC, laptops, smartphones, tablets, game consoles, smart TV, smartwatch, smart wristband. I mean, I don't have a smart TV and I don't have a smart watch, but I've got everything else except for the analog phone. I do have one in my house, but it's for my father-in-law, so I never use it. And that's great. And then this is Seabird.com. This is our traffic to date for January 2017. These are the types of platforms that are being used, and if you bundle all the Samsung together, and it my Google Analytics gives me by what it is as opposed to operating system, but you can see that iPad is very large. Xbox has a certain amount of share there, considering it's a gaming device. Not set, I would say not set, and everything else pretty much is Android. So it gives you an idea that overall of our traffic this year is 12%. And I remember when I first did, yeah, mobile, yeah. Okay, so when I first started looking at traffic numbers, it averaged at about 8% 3 years ago. So it has increased and it becomes more important. And so this is how people get to Seabird.com as to how they reached us. So Google search is they searched for a name or a product or the company name, and up we came, and they came into the website that way. 20% almost, they just typed it in and went there. And then there's all these other searches. Where I say China, that's China search. Of course, you have Satlantic and Wet Labs websites coming in as well, linking in. And then there's page search, which is 2.5% of our traffic comes from our online activities. I must stress that this traffic excludes anybody who's on our network. So this is true traffic, not myself or anybody else here accessing it from inside our network. So organic search, if you put in CTD, not right at the top, usually Wikipedia is right at the top, but you'll see us coming up on the first page, two places. One, the CTD section of seabird.com, and the other one is a landing page that's been brought in organically from tracking through Google. That was a link that was in a newsletter in December. That page also shows up later on, but the reason I know that the newsletter, if you look at the URL there, it's a tag that was introduced, so I know where that's coming from. So landing pages, if I search for pH, this top part here, pH measure in ocean water acidity, seabirdscientific.com/pH, that's a pure URL, and this is the landing page that it goes to. You can see there we have a form. On that page we have information about pH, we have product listings of our pH products and other information. The other thing there too is also from Google organic search, what people ask for. These are common questions. So this is something else that really has been introduced in the last couple of years, that common questions get an easier way to find things. So again, if I went at the top with Google and I saw that ad, I would come to that landing page. This landing page here has that form I mentioned, and if I click to sign up, this goes into Salesforce, which is our sales and customer base tool for many things, including support, service, etc., and marketing. We also use Constant Contact. That is an email platform that works with Salesforce to create various lists. And so if a person said, I sign up for this newsletter, we send out a newsletter to them. They get included in the next round. And if somebody clicked on a link in the newsletter, we know what link they clicked on, and then they're followed up to determine later from our marketing team, I see you were interested about this SBE 63. Here's some more technical information. Please don't hesitate to contact our sales information for more information if you want. And we do that because people have expressly said, yes, I want to be part of this newsletter. I agree that you may reach out to us with more product information if we feel it'll be of value, etc. And I'm sort of paraphrasing there. And so the other way that we can get people to places is through paid search. So paid search means that basically I'm running campaigns around specific products or topics. These are intricate ways to reach certain people who are looking for certain things, keywords. We try and exclude certain things, such as, I'll give you an example, a temperature sensor. So we'll exclude people looking for automotive temperature sensors. We'll exclude people looking for temperature sensor, for the house, things like that. So this ad here, it's really a lot of thought goes into how it's written, what you're trying to explain, how does that match up to the content on the page that you're sending people to, how it is related to the people and what they're looking for. And also at the bottom, you'll notice that it says the address for Halifax. Well, it says that because Google knows that I'm in Halifax, and it's going to give me the address for Seabird Scientific in Halifax. And if I was in Bellevue, it would show Bellevue. If I was in Philomath, it would show Philomath. And I think it's up to a 150-mile radius of the, or kilometer radius of the location where it shows that. So if I was in Des Moines, Iowa, it would not give me that physical address. And so you see here we're number 2, and if you just look to the left, there is at the top you've got an ad there for it doesn't look like a competitor. We're number 2. There's an ad. The next one is scientific bioprocessing, again in the same space but not necessarily an ad. And then another pH sensors one below that is an ad. And then it says scholarly articles. Below that, the first organic listing, which I didn't pay for, is the CFET page. And that comes through related to ocean pH sensor. How does that relate in organic search? And that page matches it the best out of anything that Google has. The other way that we do things is display advertising. So again, through Google, we choose websites that we want to advertise on. One of the more successful ones we use it on is this is Scientific American. So we don't get as many clicks on these ads as we do in a paid search. And this is because when you're searching for something, you're searching for a pH sensor. That's it. That's close. That's at the top. There I am. Here, you might just go into the magazine and find an article that's related to climate change, have an interest in it, and you're reading it, and you'll see the ad, but you'll say, you know what, I'm not clicking on that because I have no interest to buy a sensor. But there are studies that show through the Canadian Internet Broadcasting Alliance, which does metrics on display ads, that the more a person sees an ad, the more apt they are to visit the site, even with the ad not in front of them. So this is more of a branding exercise to show people that we're here, and it's very effective in terms of impressions, not in terms of clicks. So it serves a different sort of purpose. This again is what I was talking about, but this is the same article on an iPhone. So it just shows you sort of the placement of it. Again, mobile ads are also part of the campaign, and they're designed specifically for mobile platforms. Another way that we do it, and this is sort of in the content sphere, is creating infographics around products and product situations. So one is we show a CFET, but it's really around ocean acidification. And how does ocean acidification work? So it doesn't really push our products, but it pushes our knowledge out there and shows us in that space. So we use this in company with the pH landing page that I used. And sort of pushes that, shows that the science behind things and that we're on top of it, but yet we're also able to show things. So something like this we'll share on Pinterest and on our social media platforms. The other one is an infographic that we used for a sales pitch to a client. So it really shows more application of our things in an easy way rather than a PowerPoint of, you can use it text, 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 text. Well, that's great, but if you can visualize things, it allows you to sort of talk more directly to the customer and things. So we have quite a few infographics. These are just a couple that I thought I'd share with you. Social media, of course, as I mentioned before, this is Twitter. Social media is very important in terms of connecting, showing things. You see here under trends at the lower right, World's Ocean Days. This was also Comey Day, as you can see. This was something that I grabbed onto and twittered quite a bit with the hashtag World Oceans Day that day, and did get quite a few retweets. I also retweeted others, tweeted a few thoughts on Oceans Day, and so people will share that and send things on. So we're at 795 followers. We moved all our Twitter accounts into one 3 years ago, and I think we had like 50. So we're growing quite steadily, and of course we're following 255, which is a good balance for a commercial site. We follow a lot of like-minded institutions who are our customers or organizations. such as um, things from the UN or publications, such as Oceanography magazine, etc. So it's a great way to show things. So what you see here is another infographic for our company itself that we use pinned at the top. Most people on Twitter don't go to company pages unless they first follow them, and they'll probably never be back. So they see your tweets, and the tweet really it's there in like 15 minutes that somebody will see it, and after that it just sort of goes down the river. So it's kind of like throwing all those 100 yellow rubber duckies in a river upstream. Person walks down, they just happen to see all they see is rubber ducks end to end, and they pick out one and read it, and they throw it back in and walk away, and the next time they come, it's a completely different set. So it's more of an immediate thing, and that's how that works. Facebook, of course, is more something that you bring together and you share on a less timely basis. And then just one more thing is these are sites where we list up to 10 products, and one of them being this is a HydroCAD example, so it's almost replicating the information we have on our websites, but it's again another conduit for people to reach our sales channels through here. They may not go to our website, but that's fine because we show all the information related to this product on this site, and this is another way we can pay through partners. So we're a little tight on time, but if anybody had any questions, you can ask me now, or I can do some follow-up later. You can email me later if you'd like.
Just a quick question, Todd, on that putting the same content on another site. Does that dilute your search results at all?
No, the theory of it is it's more of a syndication of content. So they are not necessarily bidding on the same words that I am. They act as a specific portal. Geomatching is geographical environmental space. So they have an audience themselves that they go to and bring in and reach out through newsletters. So it's not a diminished in terms of search, but it is a way of getting the content.
How many of
syndication.
those such
Helps
sites
boost
do you
your
use?
SEO relevance too.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
How many of those sites?
That's the main reason we do that one.
There's 3 that I know of. One I'm still suspect about. The other one we tried for 6 months, and we still are allowed to put on a few, not 10, but maybe 3 products for free. And I didn't want to pay the money for it. I didn't see the value coming back. It was mostly people from countries that we don't sell to, wanting to buy something obscure.